And welcome to PhillyBurbs.com's video report on Game 2 of the National League Division Series between the Phillies and the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies take Game 2 by a 5-4 margin. Obviously, a lot of second guessing, I'm sure, about what happened in this game. Like, first of all, Joe Blanton, Jay Happ, Charlie Manuel decides to use both of them. So who starts Saturday night, Game 3?
It's going to be either Blanton or Pedro Martinez. Right now, I would lean towards Pedro, only because he's the fresher of the two guys, if the older of the two. Blanton only threw 19 pitches tonight. He does not have a history of arm problems. It would not surprise me to see him used in a role similar to the one Charlie, I think, wanted to use him in tonight, which was, get more outs. I don't think he would have liked to have used Blanton, for just 19 pitches. He wanted to get more out of him, couldn't do it.
And I think the underlying factor in this was Cole Hamels was not Cole Hamels, and that kind of put Charlie in a bad spot here, that he had to go get Hamels in the 5th, pinch hit for, uses Blanton in the 6th. He only used Blanton for 19 pitches. Then it gets Happ in there. Happ obviously has the line drive off his leg by Seth Smith. So is the fault on Manuel? Is it on Hamels, or do you give credit to the Rockies?
I think you give credit to the Rockies. We are so nearsighted in Philadelphia sports sometimes. We think everything comes down to what a Philadelphia sports team did or did not do. In this case, the Rockies won, 91, 92 games this season? They're a pretty good team, too. And to think the Phillies were just going to walk all over them was unrealistic. They're a good team. They got the better of the Phillies today. These things happen. Now, I'm not panicking about the Phillies pitching situation. To me, this is what happens in a short series in the playoffs. You call on starters to be relievers. You call on relievers to pitch back-to-back days. Unusual things happen, and the Phillies are just going to have to find a way to roll with this.
Which leads to Joe Blanton, Pedro Martinez. Who are you starting?
I'm starting Pedro Martinez, if for no other reason than it's a great storyline. For you baseball fans out there, you may remember this. 10 years ago this Sunday, Pedro Martinez came in Game 5 of the American League Championship Series. He was pitching for the Boston Red Sox at the time against the Cleveland Indians. And in a tie ball game, 8-8 after 3 innings, I believe, he threw 6 shutout, no-hit innings to win the game for the Red Sox. Not only did he do that, he did it after having a start skipped because of a back injury. He talked about that at length after the game tonight, about how he pitched with back pain in that game. He was able to get it done, put his career at risk. I would like to see Pedro start just for the sheer drama.
Boston, all the pitching, kind of hyperventilation that everybody's going to have in the next 3 quarters. Jimmy Rollins, until the 9th inning, really did not do much again. Chase Utley, again, looking kind of old, kind of tired at the plate, and I think that's the main thing that's really going to haunt this club. They are not swinging the bats all that well.
What happens in the playoffs is you're not going to win games 7-1, 8-1, 10-1 routinely, the way the Phillies can do that in the regular season, because you're playing the cream of the crop in the National League, and it's going to come down to, so often these games are going to come down to big hits at clutch moments. And I think you're right about Utley. I wrote about this before the series started, that this was going to be an issue. Chase Utley does not perform for whatever reason, whether it's because he's tired or for some other reason, does not perform that well in September and October. And it's become an issue now, I think, in these first 2 games.
And Jimmy Rollins has always been the driving force of this offense. You look at the numbers, you look at what the Phillies do when he scores. He's had trouble getting on base at times in this season, and that has been when the Phillies offense has stalled. So far in this series, they've done enough, but they're not hitting for power, and that's one thing I think that doesn't happen in the playoffs either. You're not going to live and die off the long ball, and this is what this club is built on. So if they don't start getting more production from Utley and Rollins, I think they're going to have a little more trouble in Denver, which leads to the final question. This is Citizens Bank Park. There's no guarantee of another game here. Will the series come back here for Game 5?
Well, I picked the Rockies in 5, so I'm going to stick with that prediction and say that the Phillies win once in Denver to force a Game 5. I think this has the makings of a long series. I really do think we're going 5 games. And as I said, I think people around here tend to underestimate how good the Rockies really are. They aren't just Troy Tulowitzki, Todd Helton, and 23 guys named Seth. Okay, they're a good ball club, and they're going to give the Phillies the fight of their lives.
And we'll be here maybe for Game 5, but make sure you read PhillyBurbs.com, the Bucks County Courier-Times, the Intelligencer, the Berwyn County Times to find out what goes on. Randy Miller, our beat writer, will be in Denver, obviously, He'll have a lot of good stuff for you, so pick up the paper over the weekend, and we will maybe see you here next Tuesday night for Game 5. For Mike Sielski, I'm Kevin Cooney. Thank you for joining us here on PhillyBurbs.com.